Hello everyone, Mocha Bear here. Welcome back to Mocha Bear's Hobby Den. Today we're going to be talking about two successor chapters in Warhammer 40K that I'm kind of curious about. Shall we get started? Alright, so I've heard some rumors going around that Warhammer 40K in 11th edition is going to be focusing on, well, obviously orcs are to be the main protagonists against the Space Marines, but that we're supposed to be getting some more love for successor chapters. Those of you who've been around long enough know that I do have a Raven Guard and Salamander army already started. I've been looking at possibly doing a third Space Marine chapter. I wasn't sure about doing Death Watch, or perhaps one successor chapter of one of my armies already, the Raptors, who are successors for the Raven Guard. Initially, I was debating on doing Raptors or Raven Guard, but I ended up settling for the Raven Guard. But I was curious, those of you who know more about the lore, because I do not know, I'm learning. As of the time you're watching this, I'm already learning more. I do know that the Raptors gene seed comes from the Raven Guard, and that they specialize in stealth, guerrilla tactics, things like that, which, from my understanding, that's what the Raven Guard do. Raven Guard are originally, from when I got into the hobby, was Raven Guard are the masters of stealth for the Space Marines. But then supposedly the Raptors are superior in stealth. I know that they are supposedly focused more on long range fighting. So the Raptors supposedly have more sniper units than the Raven Guard do. And the Raptors also typically have cloaks that they will cloak them because they're camouflage cloaks. But I'm curious, those of you who have Raptor armies or have been thinking about it or know about the Raptor lore, I would love to hear from you. What is, other than what I've mentioned already about focusing on long distance sniping and fighting and stealth, what separates them from the Raven Guard? Obviously, other than the colors. I love the color, and that was one of the reasons I was thinking about going with them. But then at the time, there were no decals for them, really. There were none. So they're abundant now during 10th edition. And then there was another chapter that I heard about last year in 2024 called the Carcharadons. The Carcharadons, the space sharks. I've seen some people with their own models that they've kit bashed, some that they've 3D printed, and they look sick. They are amazing. I know that their skin is supposed to be pale, their eyes are supposed to be like jet black like sharks, and some have their teeth are sharp and road like sharks. And I know that their chapter master is supposed to be this hulking guy outside of his Terminator armor, and inside his Terminator armor is ridiculously big. I love the schemes I've seen. The armor is gray with tribal designs on them, and I was thinking I would love to do that, but there's no models for them. There's no decals for them. Everything would have to be either free-handed and kit bashed, or I'd have to 3D print, and I don't have my resin printer up. But the Carcharadons, or the Space Sharks, seem like a really cool chapter, and I've seen a lot of different information. I saw in one place it said that they are not a successor chapter, but they are a more ancient first founding chapter that is mysterious. No one knows where they come from. They are a what is it called? They focus more on being fleet based, I believe is what it was, where they always are fighting together, kind of like swarms of sharks. But they focus heavily on Terminator armor, and I'm curious, what more do you know about them? Because again, like I said, some I've seen where it said they are not a successor chapter. Others I've seen where there's rumors that they could be a successor chapter of the Raven Guard. They could be a successor chapter of the Night Lords. I just recently heard that there's a rumor going around that I really would love to hear to be true, that their gene seed is a cross between the Raven Guard and the Night Lord gene seed, and so they're a successor from both. I think that'd be pretty cool. I also, another chapter, successor chapter, well, not even a successor chapter, a chapter that I was intrigued by were that of the Damned, the Space Marines, the chapters of the Damned, where they are, and I've seen on Mini Wargaming was the first place I saw this, where they're all kit bashed. They all have flaming heads and skulls, wearing black armor, and they supposedly show up when things are going really bad, and they just come in, wipe out the enemy, and then disappear as quickly as they showed up, as quickly and as mysteriously. And I know that's kind of edgelord, but then come on, I've got Raven Guard and Night Lord, so look who you're talking to. I think that's really cool. The Space Marines of the Damned sounds pretty cool. But for the successor chapters, the Carcharadons, or Space Sharks, and the Raptors seem really interesting to me. I would love to hear from you all, those of you who know of the lore of these successor chapters, or just the chapters in general, because again, the Carcharadons are rumored to be not successor chapters, but then others are saying they are. I would love to know or hear what you know, as well as if you play them, if you have them on the table. The Raptors are easy to put on the table, especially during 10th edition, since it's Death World Forest green for their paint, and then we have decals for the Raptor pauldrons now. We have Raptor decals. I would love to hear, especially for the Carcharadons, what you did. If you kit bashed, if you 3D printed, if you did kit bash, what did you do? What models did you take? Because I know that now we've got all the new Terminator stuff out and about that we're going to be having our hands on. I definitely want to get my hands on some of the new Vanguard Terminators. But so this is like ideal time for Carcharodon players, because we're going to have updated Primaris Terminator Space Marines. I want to hear what you did. Possibly go to my Instagram and message me or comment, because I'll post the link of this video on my Instagram. So feel free to also comment on there with pictures of your Carcharodons and Raptor armies. I would love to see them. I'd love to hear in the comments down below what your inspiration was for them. How long have you had them? Have you never heard of them before until this video? I know the Carcharodons are supposed to be getting stuff for Space Marine 2, which is really cool. And the Raptors have already had stuff in there for a while. But I would love to hear from you all. I would love to see, again, over on Instagram. I would love to see, or even on Twitter or X, I would love to see pictures of your Carcharodons or your Raptors, or even your Space Marines, the chapters of the Damned. I'd love to see those pictures. I'd love to hear your inspiration, because I'm looking at some stuff as well. Because like I said, I'm for Chaos, I'm wanting to do Alpha Legion, but now we've got rumors of the Dark Mechanicum going on, potentially coming out in 11th edition. Yes, please. So yeah, I'd love to hear from you all about that. But yeah, again, if this is your first time hearing about these chapters, or you've known about them for a while, please give this video a like, hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, hit the bell icon, set notifications to all, get notified when I upload videos and do live streams. Interacting with this video will get it going in the algorithm for more people to potentially see and interact, because I want to know more from the community. Also, please comment down below if you do have one of these armies, or if you've been thinking about them, if this is your first time hearing about them, or anything that you know about them. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to compare and contrast information from everyone commenting. And then also, please lastly, share this video, bring awareness to my channel, help me continue to grow, and help the community continue to grow, and help me continue to potentially figure out what I want to do, if I want to do Carcharodons or Raptors. But that's going to be this video. Sweet, short, simple. So please, as always, take care of yourselves. And until next time, hobby on.